Hello, I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves in these yet remain strange days. Indeed, they really do. I often say on Friday, I call them my little videos, not because they're unimportant, but because it's just me in my home office with my cell phone making these little unedited videos. I do have a media team in place who would be happy to help me make a professionally edited video, but this is just me talking with you, sharing some things that I know will help you to achieve everything you want to achieve in life and experience God's best. And that's my heart's desire for you. I want to see you experience God's best. I'm talking this week about the positive power of personal prophecy. Not the kind of prophecy where someone prophesies to you, but rather the kind of prophecy that you're prophesying to yourself. For 40 years, Caleb wandered the wilderness, watching a generation die off, and for 40 years he reminded himself that the mountain of Hebron, the place of perception, was his. There were walled cities in the land, there were giants in the land. It was an uphill battle, but for 40 years he reminded himself of the promise of God. He prophesied, I will possess my place of perception. I will possess Hebron. Now, 40 years later, generations died off. They're in the promised land, and he's claiming his promise, facing Joshua. And he said, now behold, the Lord has kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years, ever since the Lord spoke his word to Moses. While the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness, he said, I am this day 85 years old. I'm 85 years old at a time when people are thinking about going into a retirement home. Caleb's thinking about possessing his promises, which tells me whatever your age, whatever your stage, the promises of God are yes and amen. He's saying to Joshua, I want you to give me my mountain. Now, he assessed his circumstances. He understood the situation. When the children of Israel sent the spies into the land, that's what they were doing. They were assessing the situation. They were trying to discover the circumstances. 40 years later, Joshua did exactly the same thing. Faith is not denying your circumstances. Let me say that again. Faith is not denying your circumstances. In fact, it requires a proper evaluation of your circumstances in order to really exercise faith. That's why the Bible said in Proverbs 2, verse 11, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. Discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. You need to understand your circumstances. Know all the facts before you act. Even God exercises discretion. Jeremiah 10, verse 12, he hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and he has stretched out the heavens by his discretion. If God uses discretion, if God understands the circumstances, you need to use discretion and understand your circumstances. Number 5, take an honest self-assessment. Caleb goes on, speaking to Joshua in the 11th verse. As yet I'm strong this day as I was in the day that Moses sent me. As my strength was then, so is my strength now, both to war, to go out, and to come in. He took an honest self-assessment. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you have on hand? You need to ask yourselves these questions if you're going to possess your promised land. If you're going to speak a word over your life that will actually manifest in your life, you need to know what your strengths are, you need to know what your weaknesses are, and you need to know what you have at hand. Take a checkup from the neck up. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 11. For what man knoweth the things of man, save the spirit of man that is in him. How much time do you actually spend evaluating yourself? I know oftentimes we evaluate others, we judge others, but we don't spend any time at all evaluating ourselves and judging ourselves. What's productive in your life? What's non-productive in your life? What can you get along without? What do you actually need in your life? Take a self-assessment. Years ago, I was going through a really difficult time, and I was working, because when I go through a really difficult time, I find something for my hands to do. And I was caulking windows at the church, up on a ladder, caulking windows on the church. By the way, whenever I do these kind of things, I have church people say, apostle or doc or whatever they're calling me at the moment, you really don't need to be doing that. You should get someone else to do it. And I always say, I could get someone to do it, but whenever I'm stressed, I like to find something to do. And I was going through a very stressful time. I was up on the ladder, had a telephone call from a friend in California, told him what I was doing, and he said, yeah, country people are like that. And I said, what? Country people? I wanted to reach through the phone and slap him. And then I stopped and I thought a little bit. Yeah, that's my roots. My roots are in the country, and that's okay. I finally faced up to a reality, took a self-assessment. Every so often you need to assess yourself if you're going to possess your promised land and maintain that positive profession in your life, and then trust God. And that's where I have to leave it this week. I encourage you to go to our Facebook page, Aspire Church TV. Catch this message in its entirety. And then on next Sunday, this Sunday, Appointed to Prosper, because you are appointed to prosper. I'll tell you how to find that appointment, where it's at this Sunday. Catch it live on the live stream at aspirechurch.tv. Catch it on Facebook, Aspire Church TV. That's live stream at aspirechurch.tv, Facebook, Aspire Church TV, Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, a.k.a. Doc. I'll see you then.